Okay, hi, my name is Caitlin and welcome. In a minute, I'm gonna, screen share, but this basically I'm gonna be describing like my whole process when it comes to grad school applications, the drama, how to navigate that, and just for other students, whether it be for undergrad or graduate school in my case, um, just finding it relatable because my situation, it does happen to a lot of people, but I'm going to get right into it. So, right now, I currently live in Tennessee. I haven't done an introduction video yet up until this point, but I used to live in California. I do have family in California. So, I applied to grad schools both in California and in Tennessee. I wouldn't say it's half and half. I would say there's more schools in California that I applied to than in Tennessee because I did my research and there were more programs I was looking into in California that was being offered and available than here in Tennessee that is nearby me. But no, I'm gonna screen share my screen if I can figure it out. Okay, there. So this is my whole Excel spreadsheet, and I'm gonna put my glasses on just for a minute so I can look at everything. Yes, I have tons of tabs open. People tell me I'm known for that because I have to finish something in order to close it out or start something new immediately. It's just a habit, so pardon that. Um, so I originally applied to 15 programs. And as you can see, I have a few programs crossed out. And that includes CSU, Fullerton, Long Beach, Cal Poly, the Chicago School, Anaheim, and then the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. So let me go over what happened for University of Tennessee, Knoxville, the Chicago School, Anaheim, Fullerton, and Long Beach. So, University of Tennessee, Knoxville, that is close to me where I am right now in Tennessee. And it's just about an hour, a little over an hour drive away. And I figured it might not hurt to apply there and see what they have to offer. Um, and then for CSU, Long Beach, and Fullerton, and Chicago School, Anaheim, those campuses are really close to where my grandma lives in California, in Southern California. She lives in LA County. Um, but one of my recommenders, I'm not going to say their name because I want to keep that private. Um, well, I can't really keep it private because I have all the information. But what exactly happened? I asked you know, my workplace, my boss, to be a recommender because how I got the job in the first place is that they offered the job to me, and I've been there for now, it'll be 2 years this April. So, since I asked them to be a recommender, I made them a whole spreadsheet of all the due dates of the grad programs, which is a little bit much. Most students don't do that. I did that because I wanted all my recommenders, not just my work recommender, um, to be on top of it, but also to have a rough guideline of when the due dates are and of course, I have this whole spreadsheet for myself. So I was doing a lot of more work on my end to keep my recommenders up to date, but also to keep myself up to date. Anyway, so for work, they filled out a few grad school applications. From what I know, the last grad school application that they did was back in October of 2024. Like, I think it was around end of October. Let's just say mid-October. And before I left for California for winter break for vacation, just to see family, my grandma, my mom, and other relatives and family members, I went up to my supervisor. And I interrupted a meeting because it was a little bit serious because Cal State Long Beach, that grad school application was due that day of. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know there's a grad school application that's due tonight. I don't know if you were aware of that. And my supervisor told me, oh, you know, I was told by the nurse practitioner who owns it, the boss, he told him to stop the recommendations because of the new EMR system, because I work at a clinic. Um, the whole process, it was a bit chaotic, which is understandable. But from mid-October to December 15th, to about a couple days before December 15th, before I left, I had to confront my supervisor and ask him about the grad school applications. So they knew well over almost 2 months to talk to me and say, hey, we stopped doing the grad program applications, letters of recommendation. So you're going to have to find somebody else. They didn't do that whatsoever. I had to confront my supervisor myself. And pardon my language, I'm not going to actually say that word, but it put me in a messy situation. I couldn't find another recommender within a couple hours. I couldn't. And that made me lose Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Fullerton, and I only lost the Chicago School Anaheim, University of Tennessee Knoxville, CSU Long Beach, and CSU Fullerton, all because of that one letter recommendation that was not submitted by my work recommender. Because they couldn't tell me within the time span of 2 months that they stopped doing the letters of recommendation for me. So I got screwed over on my end, but I would highly recommend to people that are doing grad school applications. Even though I was on top of it, I was communicating with my recommenders about all the information, everything they needed. I even made an interest and aspirations little essay, so they kind of had a rough draft of what to write for the letter recommendation. Letters of recommendation only take 20 to 30 minutes to fill out, according to one of the professors I met in person for my other as my additional recommender after my work recommender basically left me in a mess. But I would say communicate even more with them. Don't annoy them, but communicate with them and be like, hey, just checking in. You know, if I were a student, well, I am a student, but if I were a professor, I would want a student to communicate with me as much as possible about their grad programs because I would be the person doing the letters of recommendation for them. So stay like, I would say 150, over 100% communicative with your recommenders, whether that be professors, whether it be work recommenders, work individuals, or just people that are networking with you to fill out these letters of recommendation for you. So don't just make a deadline sheet, stay on top of communication with them. I'm not saying communication was at fault on my part in this situation. It was more so on, I would say, my work. Not my work, but where I worked, my boss. It was mostly my boss's fault. And the thing about that too, more drama about that. whenever I was in California, I told myself I wasn't going to do grad school application stuff. I ended up doing that. I'm just the type of person that says, "Oh, I'm going to be taking a break." I don't take a break. That's just how I roll. Um, but I checked the Cal State Fullerton and the Cal State Long Beach applications in the portal, the Cal State Apply portal. I paid I paid the application, both applications, and $70 each. I still have not confronted my workplace, or should I say my employer, if they're gonna be reimbursing me or not. So I'm just kind of laying low on that because I don't want to ruin my relationship with my employer, even though they kind of ruined grad school for me. But a lot of my family was asking me, like, can't you just wait until next year? I'm like, I can wait until next year, but I already lost the opportunity for this upcoming fall to even get into Long Beach or Fullerton. And grad school applications, they're quite different from undergrad applications. Sometimes some grad schools are very open to students of particular circumstances that are happening if they can't submit materials on time. But in my situation, it was already too late when my employer let me know they stopped filling out letters of recommendation. So again, I got screwed. I got screwed. Like most of my family thinks it's really bad behavior on the employer's part. And I think it is too. Like, here's the thing: any professor, any recommender, and as a student, you should know this. When you're asking someone as to be a recommender, as a student, you're looking up to that recommender to fill out that letter recommendation for you because your application, one of the application requirements is that letter recommendation. And in my circumstance, all because of one letter recommendation didn't get submitted. I lost 4 programs. 4 out of the original 15. Well, 16. So let's just say I wasn't happy. But I've dealt with that drama. It is sad, but some things happen for a reason. And then right now I am waiting on University of Southern California, Chapman University, still finishing up a couple applications, Milligan, Carson Newman, Middle Tennessee State University, CSU Dominguez Hills. But as you can see, I did get accepted to one grad school. It is California Baptist University. And if you can't tell either, most of my programs that I've chosen either deal with marriage and family therapy because I do want to become a therapist, or counseling. And then there's a few outliers, such as UC Irvine. That's probably the only outlier out of all of them. They it Some of the UC campuses, it's their amount of grad programs that they offer is very slim. It's mostly like PhD programs, which I wasn't going to do PhD because it's like 5 years long. I wanted to get a master's. And so I found that they offered legal and forensic psychology. And I thought, that's a little bit interesting. Why not shoot my shot? But for the one program, Cal Baptist University, it's kind of crazy. That university does stuff based on rolling admissions. In the program that I applied for, the counseling psychology, which deals with marriage, family therapy as well, they offer it in 2 formats, online and in person. And for in person, based on what my advisor has told me over phone and an email, I would only be going on campus twice a week. It would be an hour drive one way and one and then the other way back. So driving 2 hours a day. Classes would be in the evening, starting at 4 and then after. I don't know how late. So it's early evening, late night classes. So it's not bad. But he told me I have to make a decision ASAP. I haven't. I just filled out the FAFSA. I am eligible for student aid and grants. I just have to wait on the universities, all these grad programs to reply back to me and see what federal aid they offer to me. Cause that's a consideration into my decision as well. Um, but no, the California Baptist acceptance, not even 5 days after I submitted my application, I received confirmation of acceptance. And with this particular program, which I found interesting because it's one of the oddball programs out of any other one, I didn't have to submit any letters of recommendation. I didn't even have to have any recommenders. So everything that I submitted on my part was what they looked into, like the personal statement that I had to write. That was like a heavy chunk of my application. So, but no, that is what's going on. Um, all the grad programs I'm still working on, like the University of Laverne, Milligan, Carson Newman, Middle Tennessee State University, and CSU Dominguez Hills. I'm still working on those. I will probably get those done today, but lesson learned, have a backup, have a couple backup recommenders on, just on a list. Because if you don't, you're gonna get stuck in a situation like I did. But at least I was already communicating with one professor. It took her about 2 or 3 weeks to respond to my email about writing letters of recommendation. So that too kinda crunched me on time. And then losing those 4 programs. And then Cal Poly, CSU Cal Poly, that's far away from my grandma's house. And just thinking logically about that, like, that's not a reasonable driving distance. And I would have to be staying in a dorm. And I wasn't up to that. So that's kind of why I dropped that. So 4 of them I lost because of one letter recommendation not being submitted by my employer. And then the other one, Cal Poly, I decided not to keep because of location and just drive time. It didn't make any logical sense. But that is basically everything. And of course, you can tell I'm a bit detailed. Excel sheet, due date spreadsheet that I made, and then interest and aspirations, um, little essay for my recommenders. I also would highly recommend to you keep a spreadsheet or a list of all the emails of your recommenders, because for each application you have to put in the recommender name, their title, what's your relation to them, and their email. Because this has actually helped me, the spreadsheet, because I was kind of tired of going back and trying to look up their email. Um, and then what also helps me, instead of keeping too many tabs open, even though unfortunately I do have tons of tabs open, but I had more, and I'm not joking, is just copy and pasting a link to that application page. So then if you don't exactly know where that tab is, or you exited out of it and you need to reaccess your application, you can just, click on the link on your spreadsheet or document, Google Doc, whatever you decide to do. And you can get right to your application. You just have to put in your email, your ID, username, and then your password, and then you can access your applications. But this is what I found easiest: spreadsheet, make a little mini essay for your recommenders, communicate with your recommenders, and just communicating with them. I can't emphasize enough. Communicate, 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 and have backups, at least two recommenders, because with grad schools, you're either going to need between 2 to 4 individuals of recommenders that need to submit letters of recommendation for you. So you have to have that lined up as well. But you have to look into each program that you're wanting to apply for or have already applied for, and in the process of your application, um, just make sure programs that you are applying for, do your research about them, know how many recommenders you need, get backups, do what you need to do, because it is a process. Whenever I met with the one professor after to be my other recommender after my employer kind of ditched me, um, they were telling me that another student was doing 10 grad school applications. And for me to say 15, that was she said that's the most that she's ever heard of. And because of 5 out of 16, I lost. I'm down to 11. It's still a little bit more than that other student, but it's a whole process. Like I even made a spreadsheet of all the like the word count because I just wanted to see, how many words I've typed up. So far I've typed up almost 10,500 words since like August. But no, I'm finishing up this process today, getting everything submitted. And I'm just saying, those application fees are going to kick you in the butt because the cheapest one, well, some of the universities will give you like a fee waiver code so you don't have to pay for it, like Milligan did. So I paid 0. But the one that I paid least out of pocket for was Cal Baptist, $45. The most expensive one, as you can see, is UC Irvine, $135. When I saw that, my mouth dropped, and I'm like, why? Why $135? But it's also expense from yourself unless you're having your parents do out of pocket. But I was doing this out of pocket because it's my money. I want to invest it in my education. Fortunately, I lost $140 of that because of my employer. So $140 went down the drain out of however much money I've paid now. I don't think that 805 figure is right. I don't know. Could be, but let's just say it's 805 right at this point. But I'm probably going to be hitting like $1,000 I'm just paying out of pocket. And then also, while I was in California, I'm going to stop screen sharing. But while I was out in California, for a month, I toured Cal Baptist in Riverside. And it's a beautiful, beautiful campus. It's a Christian university. All I'm hearing about them is that, the professors are like these types of professors that will literally give you their phone number if you need their contact information instead of their email. They're that very friendly. And I toured the campus with my grandmother. Some people consider Riverside, how can I say it? One person put it to me, the ghetto, Mexican ghetto. And I know it's a bit offensive, so I apologize in advance if that offends anyone. But literally, people have told me that's like the ghetto Riverside is. But the campus itself, it was the cleanest campus I have ever been on. Cleaner than the campus that I'm on right now here, ETSU in Tennessee. And parking, I cannot emphasize about parking. At ETSU, I have to walk over a half mile faculty have closer parking than the students. And parking is so spread out across campus. You could either be walking a mile, half mile, or a mile and a half. Just in a given day, I not only walk like 4 flights of stairs, I walk from over a half mile to and from my classes. So from my car to my classes, and then round trip, that's over a mile already of my day that I've already walked, all because of my classes. Whereas at Cal Baptist, where the classes would be located if I do choose that university or confirm my acceptance, accept my acceptance, the parking is literally right in front of that building. Parking is so accessible for students there. It's a D1 college. There's lots of amenities. It's an hour away from the mountains to snowboard, hour away from the beach. You can really rent surfboards and winter ski gear for like half the price than what would you, or more than half the price, less or even less than half the price, should I say, than what you would be paying like at a regular place to rent ski stuff or rent surfboards and all that, which is awesome. That's probably some of the best perks about that university. And the class sizes for that program is about 20 students. And the classrooms, they have enough light, lots of windows, and I don't know. I'm hoping to apply, not apply, but I'm hoping to accept and hear back from some of the universities by like spring break or by the end of March. If you didn't see my short video, I explain it or give an update about it, but like grad school update. But no, that's like the whole, situation with my grad school stuff, just the interesting background and drama. So if you have any questions about the programs, about grad school application process, please do not hesitate. I had to learn this myself. I had to do research and how to type the essays. And I'll be doing videos about the essays that I wrote so people can have a perspective of what kind of essay that I wrote and give them an idea about how they should write theirs, or give them some sort of baseline of how a grad school application should look like, essay, a personal statement should look like. But that is it. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I hope this has helped anyone.